no more things I used to do. I don't do no more, for the Lord's made a change in me.
Hello, this is Real History with Melissa, and it is the 6th of August, 2026, and it's the first Thursday instead of the second Thursday of the month when we usually have Neil. We weren't together last month because I had to slow down the schedule just a little bit, and I am speaking again with Dr. James Giordano next week. He could not do the first Thursday, so Neil graciously gave up his slot. I will talk to James Giordano next week about the fun stuff, the brain computer interface, the enhanced humans, the super soldiers, I guess, if you will, and how it affects us, because I see the average Joe and Jane lining up for this. I can see it already in our behaviors online. It's like, oh, great, I can be smart and learn a language in, half a day and, you
Yeah,
know,
but you're not going to be able to travel to use it, so I don't see the point of that.
or have any water.
No, no.
So how are you, Neil?
All right. I got over the World Cup with my son, and then Jack had to go to the vet. He
Oh
nearly
no.
died. He nearly died.
Oh,
We basically had to. He was absolutely fine one day, and the next day it was exiting from both ends. Put it that way, and
oh.
almost like he'd been poisoned or something. But we carried him into the vet basically because he couldn't walk, and the vet goes, "Oh, well, we'll give him X-rays, da da da." So like $770 later. Go, oh, our X-rays are inconclusive. I say, well, why don't you do another one? Oh, well, we may have to do exploratory surgery. I goes, all right, and what's that going to cost? Oh, $13,000. I says, well, I'll tell you what, just put them down now, because that's just ridiculous. I says, you're going to do exploratory surgery, what, come back and say it's inconclusive? I mean, and then what? And they said, oh, well, maybe we could try something else. So they gave him some antibiotics and some anti-nausea pills, and he walked out.
Hmm.
And he was 3 days later, he was fine. So never take your dog to the vet if and they offer you surgery. Ask for a second opinion.
Oh, well,
There's crooks everywhere.
there are, and Alan talked about this quite a few times that they really get you both when with
It's emotional. They
family.
get
It's
emotional. Yeah,
emotional, yeah.
yeah,
It's your animals that you love, but also family.
yeah.
It's like whatever, I'll do it, I'll try it. It's experimental. No, give it to me. Cut into
Well,
it,
I mean,
burn it.
Paula was here almost crying. I said, Paula, we're not bankrupting ourselves with the dog. That's it. Simple as that.
Mm.
And that was the way it went. So yeah, it cost. I mean, it ended up costing $1,300, but that's better than 13,000, which I wasn't going to pay anyway. But
Well, I'm glad Jack is okay.
he's fine.
Yeah, that's
He's back
good.
to his usual disobedient self. He's
Oh.
an individual. He's an individual. He comes when he wants to, and he doesn't come when he doesn't want to. So that's it. But he's getting better.
Good. Well, I'm glad he's all right.
Yeah.
So what else is new down your way? It's hot.
It's very hot. Yeah. Market's a little bit slow, but that's normal for this time of year. Get through August and that'll pick up again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got to get for the UPS season coming up November, December. I've got to get kind of 6 weeks ahead because I won't
Mm.
be able to make anything while I'm doing that.
Hmm.
So, but I'm not going to use Saturdays with them this year because they've just messed me about with hours last year. So they can get somebody else to do that.
Hmm.
And I'll just do markets instead where I'll make more money.
But do you drive truck for them on Sunday
No,
or
no, no,
no?
my own
Uh,
vehicle, Monday to Saturday.
Monday,
So,
yeah.
but the thing is, you've got to get 40 hours Monday to Friday before you get time and a half on Saturday. And they were
Ah,
deliberately not giving us 40 hours Monday to Friday.
of course.
So, so I just said to them, nah, you've made it a part-time job. I'll treat it like a part-time job next year.
Okay.
So,
And
so
your
that's that.
paintings, how are your paintings doing?
Well, I sent you a few samples.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, they're doing all right. They're selling.
that's
So,
good.
yeah, just keep experimenting with stuff. See what happens.
Good.
It's doing all right.
Well, so I said last time when we were talking to Sandy, we'll have to put a time cap on the articles. You have supplied me with a lot of articles over the last month, we'll just say, since through July. And there is a theme to them, I will say, because I think that there is a real clear path that they have us on, which is what would you call it? The road to perdition. It's not good.
No, no.
So if we want to just dive in, I've got everything pulled up that as
I've
far
got
as I
most.
know.
Yeah, I got most of them pulled up. I think there was two articles in the New York Post which I couldn't read, so I just got rid of them.
Okay.
But let's start with armadillos. Health News Florida. Armadillos likely behind Florida's increasing leprosy cases, but doctors say don't worry. Right. Well, we've got armadillos running around here all the time. And I just thought, armadillos, leprosy. Let's look up COVID vaccines and leprosy. And from the NIH, National Library of Medicine, the official documents here, reactions in leprosy patients triggered by COVID-19 vaccination, a cross-sectional study from a tertiary care centre in India. So yes, there is a link between COVID-19 shots and leprosy.
Wow.
But that's just a coincidence, right? You don't
Of
have to see, you don't have to
course.
worry if you're not at the shot, I guess.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting a message your internet connection is unstable.
Uh-oh.
There you go. So yeah, these pesky little armadillos, they're getting the blame. Poor little things.
Mm.
Okay, because there are still cases to be reported, how do they know? Because there are still cases to be reported. What, are they fortune tellers?
Yeah.
Or, read the tea leaves or something. Dr. Norman Beatty from the University of Florida said the total number of cases this year is likely to be higher than last year's. Really? I bet maybe they're giving armadillos PCR tests. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, reported cases of leprosy in Florida have been rising over the past several years. Several years. This year, the state saw 17 cases. Wow, 17. And they've been rising year on year. So where did they start at? One, two? What? The total from last year was 36 compared to 20 in 2024, 23 in 2023, and 8 in 2022. There you go. A local species of armadillo, local, what does that mean? It lives in my neighborhood? I don't know. Which carries a bacteria that causes leprosy, may be behind most cases. Maybe, maybe not. But the increase doesn't necessarily mean more people are getting infected with the disease. Well, they just said they were, didn't they? Cases are rising.
Yeah.
I don't know. Awareness of leprosy, also known as Hansen's disease. That's the one I should have looked up. Hansen's disease. And how it's transmitted has been growing significantly over the past 20 years. Significantly to the extent there's only 36 cases in Florida, right? Which likely led to an ongoing rise in the number of reported cases. Hold on. How does that work? So they've actually got cases. That's what they're saying. So that's led to an ongoing rise in the number of reported cases.
Mm-hmm.
Make sense of that, if you will. We have a clinic here in Gainesville focused on leprosy. They've got a whole clinic focused on leprosy for 36 cases a year. And we are identifying new cases each month that have otherwise been either misdiagnosed or they've been having signs and symptoms for years. If you have signs and symptoms of leprosy for years, your bits start falling off, don't they?
That's what we
Isn't
saw
that
in the
how that
movie.
works?
Yeah, that's what they
Yeah,
told.
that's what we saw in the movies.
Yeah, that's what the Bible said.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what all these, yeah, the old sword and sandal movies, they all had leprosy.
Yeah.
If you had it, you got sent to the island, and that was it. You just fell apart. The first signs, unless you were a kind of special person that could go there and not catch it.
Yeah.
The first signs of leprosy, I guess they had armadillos there. The first signs of leprosy are red lesions on the skin, which are usually located on the abdomen and limbs. So that's everywhere, right? The hallmark of disease is decreased sensation at the site of the infection. They showed you that in the movies as well. I know they stabbed the person with something or use a flame or something, they couldn't feel it.
Yeah.
Although most armadillos in Florida are not. Try taking a flamethrower to an armadillo and see if it feels it, and then you'll know if it's got leprosy or not, right? Although most armadillos in Florida are not infected, with the bacteria that causes leprosy, many of the cases in the north and central parts of the state come from direct contact with the animal and its habitat. Direct contact with its habitat. What? Like you're walking through your yard? Because
Hmm.
that's its habitat.
Hmm.
Its habitat's the whole of Florida, right? I don't see anybody coming in direct contact with an armadillo. They tend to be rather kind of shy and stay away from you. A case in Manatee County is the only one reported so far in the Greater Tampa region. One case. To stay safe, oh, here we go again. Here's the advice coming. You would want to avoid directly touching the animal. You ever tried getting close to a wild animal? Its carcass. Oh yeah, I'm going to go up to a stinky carcass and go. I think I'll touch that. Or ingesting the animal. Don't eat armadillos. They're bad for you. I mean, anybody try skinning an armadillo? That'd be pretty tough. As well as avoiding soil that the animal could have been burrowing in or disrupting. So, yeah. No, my chickens running out all over the yard. They're even going in the front garden and everything. They're going all over the place. They dig up patches everywhere. How am I supposed to know if that's a chicken or an armadillo? Eh? I guess if it's a chicken, I'll probably get bird flu. I don't know. That's really the best way someone can prevent transmission here in Florida. Right, so to stay safe, don't touch the animal, its dead body, or don't eat it. Uh, I don't think anybody do either, if they've got any
Well,
brains.
you know who would do it? RFK
Uh,
Jr.
he would, yeah,
Yeah, you remember the story of him stopping for I forgot what it was, but he literally dismembered it on the road.
yeah.
Did you hear
Well,
about that?
I vaguely remember.
Yeah, well, he was laughing at me. I mean, it's just so, for whatever else he's done or hasn't done, this is a quite telling story. He removed the reproductive organ from some roadkill that he either hid it themselves as they were driving, and then he put it in a ice chest that the family ice chest so that he
Mm,
could study it later. This is the sexual organ of an animal
yeah.
he cut off,
Well,
and he said, "My family thinks I'm a little weird."
uh, isn't he a lawyer?
Uh-huh.
What's he know about dissecting animals?
Well, this goes back, if I'm just saying the elite, if you
Yeah.
study that, yeah, they've always done this.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
There's a few lesser known, I think even Rothschilds, but whose hobby was, collecting insects and dissecting small animals
Mm.
and
Well, you know what to say about that. The children that start torturing animals, there are clear signs of psychopathy. Yeah,
well, a ruling elite and psychopathy, is that not the same thing?
yeah, yeah. Anyway,
Psychopath.
yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
Dr. Sally Alraba, well, Sally Abracadabra, professor
Hmm.
of infectious disease at the University of South Florida, said knowing the symptoms is essential for an early diagnosis and faster treatment. Why can't I just stick a PCR up your nose? Doesn't that work? Because it's rare and because it mimics so many other skin conditions. So they're just making it all up, aren't they? The diagnosis can be missed. So don't be worried, right? Don't be worried. But it can mimic so many other skin conditions. So if you get a slight rash, you're going to rush off to the doctor. Doctor, I think I've got leprosy. I've never seen an armadillo in my life, but hey, I don't know what they look like really because I've never seen one. So I might have seen one. People should pay attention to any reactions they have after interacting with nature, Al Rabba said. Like nature. Well, define nature. As I say, walking out my yard, there's nature there. There's snakes, there's rabbits, there's chickens, uh, raccoons. Providing a doctor with that information makes it easier for them to diagnose leprosy, she said.
Doctor, I went outside.
Yeah,
Am I going to live?
yeah, yeah. I breathed. Yeah. Being out and about and being exposed to various animals and such, you kind of have to remember and bring it up to your dermatologist or your practitioner, she said. Exposed to various animals. What are they talking about? What are they talking about? uh, it's like you see a raccoon going out with a raincoat on, you go flashing you. Oh, being exposed to a various animal. Here we are. Around 95% of people are naturally immune to leprosy, which affects the skin and the nerves. Oh, now we're on to the nerves. The disease is curable with antibiotics. But don't be scared. Don't be scared, right? Because there are still ongoing cases to be reported, it's likely that this year's total will be higher than last year's total. Genius. However, scientists say there is no reason to be alarmed. Well, they've just given you reasons to be alarmed. It can mimic any other skin condition. You better get to your doctor and get something stuck up your nose. We truly want to demystify this disease and recognise that it's another infectious disease here in our state that we can treat and recognise as being present, he said. He said, hold on, Sally?
No, that's Beatty,
Oh, all right, okay. Well,
whoever Beatty is.
I thought he'd
I forgot.
just gone tranny on it halfway through the article. I don't know, but anyway, so that's the end of it. Don't be worried, but be worried. Got nothing to do with the shots, right? Nothing to
No.
do with that at all. And that was
Yeah.
from Health News Florida, so we can trust them. Right, thinking with animals. Hold on. Fishing,
Okay.
right? This is from Associated Press. You know, those broadcasters of truth all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Fishing closures are becoming routine as record heat warms rivers in the US West. Well, it's been pretty warm down here, and I'm going fishing tomorrow because I haven't been for 2 months. But generally, in the lakes around here, they're all different depths. And my local lake is its deepest, if it was at a normal level, would be about 22 feet,
Mm-hmm.
roughly. I mean, it varies obviously around the lake, but the deepest would be 22 feet. Another lake, which I'm going to tomorrow, its normal depth is 14 feet, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you catch exactly the same fish there. So they adapt to whatever lake they're in,
Mm-hmm.
to the depth. So what warming water has to do with it is nonsense.
Well, this isn't, yeah, I mean, it's not much of a story. It's like 3 paragraphs, and it says that,
Hmm.
trout need cool water to survive, but record heat this summer has driven water temperatures to lethal levels for fish. So, what they're not saying is where are the dead fish that they're seeing because the water is lethal for
Exactly.
them.
Well, you see them floating on the surface,
Yeah, that's not there.
and I don't see them at all. But trout
Why
need
don't they
cool
just
water.
tell the
Well, do you know what?
fishermen not to go out because they might get leprosy? Wouldn't that
Well,
just be as effective?
can you get can you get that from trout?
No, well, no, but you
You,
can get it from being
well,
outside. It's
yeah, and don't eat the trout. It's gonna be bad for you. But
yeah.
how like in the winter time here, you catch the
Hmm.
fish shallow, or the springtime. You catch them shallow, like in 2, 3 feet of water, right?
Hmm.
Because and it's still warm, but the water temperature's obviously a lot colder than it is now. But they come into shallow waters to do their spawning and stuff like that. And then when it gets really hot, all they do is swim a bit deeper. That's
Hmm.
what they do to get the cool water. Or they go under things that have got shade. You know, the fish aren't stupid. They know how to regulate their temperature. So yeah, that's all they do. They just go deeper. Um,
I've never heard a story
so
of a fish getting the bends from going down too deep and coming up too quickly. Have you?
no, no, they come
It's
up very quickly when what's up meat, I tell you.
You
They'll
know what?
even jump out of the water.
I'm going to say this about the tone, and you made a comment too, so I'm really just repeating your comment. But
You're
the through
breaking up.
line of what you're
Yeah.
sending is clearly what we're seeing is the push now for Agenda 21 or Agenda 2030. It's get everybody off the land
Oh, absolutely.
in a
Absolutely.
variety of ways.
Yep. Hmm.
All right, carry
Well,
on.
we'll move on to that one, will we? After that
Yes,
fishing
let's
one.
do it.
Right.
Yes.
So, talk about moving off the land. Colorado declares town abandoned amid water
Mhm.
and leadership crisis. Uh, well, I guess if they got rid of the leadership, there probably wouldn't be a crisis. So maybe
Yeah,
they should just go
yeah.
and then let the residents get on with it. They show you the big water tower there, Hartman. My Chrome wasn't responding again. Okay, so yeah, Colorado declares town abandoned. Who declared it? Who like who? I
Well,
bet there's people still living there.
yeah.
How can you just walk away from everything? you know,
Well,
okay,
it
they're
looks
showing
it
it as
looks like a
it's like a desert
legalism.
here.
Yeah, it's like a legalism.
Yeah, yeah, but if you look at the picture, there's green patches out there. Somebody's watering that.
Hmm.
There's a whole field there that's bright green, and there's another one away in the distance that's bright green.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, I would imagine there's probably been some kind of hose pipe ban or something in this
Hmm.
village or this small town. They say, oh, you can't water your yard. You know, where were they getting what before? Does it say?
Well, I don't know. Okay, so it says Colorado declares town abandoned amid water and leadership crisis. Hartman
Yeah.
residents, so the residents themselves asked for declaration after infighting exacerbated water crisis and all town leaders resigned.
Yeah.
So carry on here and we'll
Okay.
find out if there's something they were going to tell
Yeah. So
us.
why did they resign? Yeah, because they were useless at the job, and that's why the water ran out.
Yeah.
The Office of Colorado State of Secretary of State Jenna Griswold announced the fate of Hartman on 29th July, a little more than a month after being advised in writing that the town had lacked chlorine in its water for more than 1 month, and the water was not potable and smells horrible, according to Powell. So, because they didn't put chlorine in, right?
Uh-huh.
A simple thing.
Yep.
Like if I don't put chlorine in my pool, every day or 2 days, it will start going green,
Hmm.
right? Well, that's so it was their fault. It
Yes,
was the
clearly.
city's. So why can't they just say, right, okay, let's get a bunch of chlorine, let's get the water cleaned up? Because even if my pool is, if say we for some reason it went green, right, we couldn't get chlorine or something, or algaecide, and it went green, I could have that bright blue within a week.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
not difficult, and I know nothing about pools. I had to learn that myself, and I don't sit on the city council, but. So, black coating smells horrible, blah, blah, blah. Hartman resident landowner and voter, oh, that's where he made a mistake. Jesse
Yeah.
Simons had also written to Griswold's office that the town had been under an order to boil water for months. The documents added that Hartman had no board of trustees or town clerk, was unable to hold a local election, and owned infrastructure critical for the treatment of delivery of water to residents. Um, how does who owns it? The documents added that I had no board of so there's no board of trustees, town clerk, da, da, da. So who owns the infrastructure?
Well, it shows here a picture of a woman, Pam Packer. There's some good names
Yeah,
here. And it says she was a former board member, so,
yeah. Well, she looks a bit dried up. Anyway, uh, that barring a successful appeal would become responsibility of surrounding Prowers County's government. Oh, the county's got a government now. Wow. Why can't the people just do it themselves? I'm sure somebody there knows something about water. Ask a farmer.
yeah.
You know, Hartman had a population of fewer than 60, so they couldn't supply water for 60 people, right? At the time of the 2020 US Census, before it was declared abandoned under a Colorado state law allowing for the dissolution of incorporated communities which can no longer maintain a government. I wonder what's going to move in there. Oh,
Hmm.
I bet a data center goes in there, or something of that nature. Maybe a drone factory. Colorado's Denver Post newspaper described the administrative failure of Hartman, established in 1910, as having no analogue in recent state history. Well, why hasn't anybody been prosecuted?
Yeah.
This is total mismanagement or negligence, I guess you call it. They can't even supply chlorine for the water supply. I mean, what kind of idiots are these? Or is it deliberate? You can't be that stupid. As the Post put it, political infighting, accusations of fraud, we're getting to it, a physical fight at the governing board meeting, and a worsening drinking water supply crisis combined to doom Hartman as a standalone town. Well, it sounds like the worsening drinking supply crisis was just part of it. There's other things going on there. Uh, its water tower spent years needing but never getting substantial repairs as the town was gripped with feuding, which the Post compared to the 19th century rivalry waged in the US's Appalachian region by the Hatfield and McCoy families. Well, you probably know the story of that, and I know the story of that, but listeners probably don't. So there's a movie about it. You can watch that. I'll show it to
I've mentioned before that my grandmother, my father's mother, was a McCoy.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so and they were the McCoys. She was from the McCoys, so yeah, they were fighting clans in the
Over nothing.
U.S. Yeah,
Over
well,
nothing. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, the Outlook reported that the quarrelling in Hartman was so intense that it kept at bay any water operators who could step in to assist. So it's deliberate. It's got to be deliberate. Like, where were these city commissioners getting their water from? I bet they weren't boiling it. I bet they were doing all right.
Okay, so while you're discussing this, I looked up Prowers County because right the county is going to assume
Take over.
they're
Yeah.
going to take over. So Prowers County economic development plans focus on diversifying beyond agriculture through
Oh,
renewables.
yeah.
Uh-huh. Manufacturing and tourism to counter decades of population and job decline. They have a 2016 Economic Prosperity Plan and the Prowers Economic Prosperity Organization. So that's called the PEP, Prowers Economic
Oh,
Prosperity. And these are the things that are upcoming. So I think you're right. It's what's in the future here. Renewable energy, significant investment in wind power with 141 turbines operational and projects like the Colorado Green Wind Power Project, converting agricultural land to energy infrastructure. Then they've got a Lamar City project. It's airport development
no.
plans and historic preservation. Uh, they're going to do grain milling at a Colorado Mills in the county, sunflower processing for zero waste oil and feed. So they're getting into all things green and beautiful.
Well, they still need water for that.
Yeah, but not that town. They don't need that town.
No, they don't need
Simple
time,
as
but
that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But they might put some there. I mean, it's got electricity supply, everything. There'll be
Yeah.
something goes there, I'm sure. So let's see where we. Okay, boil water. Da da da. Simons wrote to Griswold's office requesting the formal abandonment of Hartman on 17th of June. Who's Simons again? Is she one of the? Who's she?
Simmons or
Simmons.
Simons,
Yeah.
just a member of the town, a resident,
Okay.
Jesse.
Okay. Are they going to be compensated for their loss of property? How does that work under a formal abandonment? Because I mean, I'm sure a lot of these people own their properties. I don't know. In a 15-page order granting Simon's request, the Secretary of State's office wrote, not determining that the town apartment is abandoned would leave the residents in further legal limbo during a health hazard, with no authority to conduct business, hold elections, or fix their water infrastructure so that clean water can be delivered to the town residents. Uh, Joe Public could do all that stuff themselves
Hmm.
easily. Abandonment, at the end of the day, the City Commission does nothing. They hire people to do the work. So why can't the people that are there say, right, we'll just form our own City Commission, we'll get our own infrastructure in place and we'll collect the money to pay for this stuff
Hmm.
and do it themselves. They don't deal, that's simple.
Yeah, it is kind of odd because, you can, as residents, you can decide your own fate.
Mhm.
I mean, for instance, Esther, where we lived in Canada, was unincorporated. Lots of places that are unincorporated don't have a town structure like that. They could have simply voted to disincorporate themselves and take over decisions,
Mhm.
as a collective. But anyway, it's a
Yeah.
weird story.
Yeah. Well, we'll just finish off here. Abandonment is the only legal mechanism in Colorado law that creates an avenue for residents of the area to receive clean water. Eh?
Yeah.
They're abandoning it because they can't receive clean water.
I guess there's
Abandonment, if they
something.
that does well, if they're abandoning it because they clean water, they're not getting water. But it says abandonment is the only legal mechanism in Colorado law that creates an avenue for residents of the area to receive clean water.
Well, from what I'm picking up here, they have abandoned themselves to a greater system, which is the county system.
Right.
That's
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
That's where they're going to get the water from.
Yeah.
So where are they getting the water? I'm
Well,
sure.
yeah.
I'm sure if it's just the next town over, it's coming from the same place.
That's I tell you what.
But Anyway, at least some in Hartman objected to its abandonment despite the conditions there. They said there was only 60 residents, right? So, I mean, there's a few.
Well, I
Resident
guess we're
Shauna
going to hear from
Casey,
all of them in this article. It's-
Resident Shauna Casey said, Hartman is not a failed town. Hartman is a town that was failed by the system designed to protect it. So they need to put their own systems in. Quite simple.
no.
Just say, well, get lost. We'll do it ourselves. Like most of us should all be doing. So anyway,
To me, the biggest part of this story, without knowing much more about it, is it's just indicative of how helpless people have become.
yeah.
I mean, it's also just something else to say. You remember, Alan would say, about the idea of rebellion or let's get a new system, or people say, "Oh, I'm a dissident. I'm fighting this. We were going to
Mhm.
change this." He said, "Show me where you can get two or three people to agree
To
on
agree.
anything."
Yeah.
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 I mean, you got a town of 60 people and they cannot solve a problem for themselves.
Mhm.
It's
Well, I
quite
mean, from
pathetic.
from that article, it sounds like the city commissioners were stopping anybody doing anything. It
Well,
wasn't
you know
necessarily
that,
the people, but I mean, they voted for them, so they get what they get.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, we'll stick with Colorado and water, shall we?
Hmm.
Uh, as I say, there's a theme here. Nevada to lose a third of its Colorado River water over the next 2 years. What happens next? Well, exactly the same as what happened to Hartman, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Water experts, uh, get a few of them over to Hartman and sort that out. Say the reductions are manageable now. What happens after 2028 is a harder question. So Nevada will give up 50,000 acre feet of Colorado River water a year over the next 2 years under a federal operating framework. Oh, framework, that sounds like UN to me. Released Friday that cuts distributions to 3 states. I don't have it up here, but I think a lot of that water from the Colorado River is going to data centers. I saw that somewhere. Nevada holds by far the smallest share of the Colorado River of any of the three lower basin states, just 300,000 acre feet, compared with Arizona's 2.8 million and California's 4.4 million. So there you go, get rid of the smallest one first and then move on to the next one, right? And it uses less than it is allocated. So that's why they're going to take it off them. Only 190,000 acre feet last year, according to the Southern Nevada Water Authority, recycling the vast majority of its water and sending it back to Lake Mead for credit. It sounds like CO2, doesn't it? Yeah.
Hmm.
That restraint hasn't been enough to escape the reckoning. Oh, it's a reckoning. They're not using what is allocated to them, so they're just going to cut them off.
Yeah.
That's bizarre. Nearly a quarter of a century of drought, worsened by hotter and drier conditions tied to climate change, has pushed combined stored water in Lake Mead and Lake Powell, the two reservoirs central to the Colorado River system, to its lowest point since 1957. But there was people living there before 1957, weren't there?
Hmm.
The temporary rules, written in 2007 and expanded in 2019, oh, that's how temporary they were, to manage that decline, expire in October. The final environmental impact statement released by the Bureau of Reclamation is the federal government's answer to a question the states themselves couldn't agree on. Oh, here we go again, right? It's the
Hmm.
local governments can't agree who gives up how much water and when. Because the states never reached a deal, Reclamation didn't adopt a fixed set of rules. Instead, it laid out a 10-year framework through 2036. That's how do they know it's not going to rain next year? We might have monumental floods for the next 10 years. That'll solve the
Well,
problem, right?
somebody knows what they're spraying from the skies and
Yeah,
how it's
yeah,
going. Somebody
yeah,
knows.
yeah. That sets outer limits on how deep, do you used to know how deep, no, water acronyms, it can go and how much water can be released. Then leaves the specific operating guidelines to be rewritten every 2 years. So they don't know what they're doing, really, do they? Well, we better
Mm.
change it. The framework allows lower basin cuts of up to 3 million acre feet a year, nearly double what the three states proposed in May. The upper basin states, Colorado, Wyoming, New Mexico, and Utah, face no mandatory cuts. Who absorbs those cuts is a separate question, blah, blah, blah. It goes on and on and on. It's the same. like
Hmm.
Agenda 21 nonsense. These kinds of water supply stressors aren't going away because of climate change, right?
Yeah.
Uh, the 1922 Colorado River Compact, dividing the river's water, was written during an unusually wet stretch of years, some of the wettest in more than 1,000 years. Water law scholar, sorry, Robert Glennon told Colorado Public Radio station, KUNC. So the negotiators split up more water than the river has reliably produced ever since. So there you go. They know what it did over the last 1,000 years, according to a water law scholar,
Hmm.
whatever that is.
Yeah.
What do you want to be when you grow up, Robert? Oh, I want to be a water law scholar. That sounds interesting. So yeah, there you go. That's the Colorado River, and everybody going to be dried up.
Ugh.
So there you go. Water, water, water. Huh? What have we got next?
Well, let's
Now my
see.
computer's frozen. Oh no.
Oh,
Oh,
here's one right here. Water restrictions extended in Lakeland. That's your area,
oh,
isn't it?
that's mine. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
have that one up actually. Uh,
You want
yeah, I
me
mean,
to?
it's been dry here. It's been
Yeah.
dry here, but Lakeland, Winter Haven. If anybody wants to look up Winter Haven to see how much water is around Winter Haven, it's called the Chain of Lakes. There's about 30 or 40 lakes. There ain't no shortage of water there, and when it rains, it floods.
Yeah.
And we're in the rainy season. We always get the rainy season. We've had a drought in spring because it doesn't rain then. It rains from like late June to the end of August
And
every day.
and and people who've lived there for a long time know that, but this
Mhm.
is the training you that this is some outrageous thing. So what
Mhm.
it is basically where you're living, Lakeland area residents, you're going to have to curtail your water use to 1 day a week of irrigation. So it means that you can water, that's gardens and everything, I'm
Mhm.
assuming. Well, it says
Yeah.
lawn watering. Lawn watering permitted once a week on your assigned day, and it gives you the hours between midnight and 4 a.m. or 8 p.m. to midnight.
Right. So you have to have a timer set up, right?
Yeah.
You ain't going to get up at midnight to water your garden.
You can car washing on your day only with a shutoff nozzle. Decorative fountains are limited to 4 hours per day. Restaurants must serve water by request only. So these are ridiculous things. You go to a restaurant and can I get some water, please? I'm parched.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah,
Well, it's illegal not to refuse somebody water in a bar in Scotland if they walk in the door, even if it's a child.
really.
Well, it used to be. I mean, maybe they've changed that because
Hmm.
because it is a human right, right?
No.
Um, what I was going to follow on with the town abandonment thing with
Oh,
wildfires amplified by emptying countryside. That
oh,
was in the New
great.
York
Yeah,
Times. That's
good,
I
good.
can't see that one. I can't see that one.
Let me see. Wildfires. See, I'm scrolling across like
Oh, wait a minute.
there's
I can get it on Tech Times. Here's one here.
okay,
I get the same story here. This is on Tech Times, July 31st, so just
okay.
last week. Grazing was Europe's firebreak, right? Now
Hmm.
remember we've talked to wildlife habitats. You can't be chopping that stuff down and making fire breaks. Rural depopulation left forests as tinder. Weather whiplash and entry countryside compound climate in Spain and France's record fires. So when you abandon the countryside, right, because there's no water, this is what you're going to get because there's nobody
Hmm.
there to manage it.
Hmm.
For generations, the goats did the work. Now it's just a sheep, right? Shepherds and livestock herders moved animals through the scrublands of central Spain and the forests of southern France, chewing down the dry grass and needle litter that accumulates between the trees, creating natural breaks in the fuel that would otherwise connect one fire's ignition point to the next ridge, the next valley, the next village. When the countryside emptied, and it has been emptying since the 1950s, faster in some decades than others, like this one, the grazing stopped. The fuel stayed, as the EU's Life Landscape Fire Project documented in its analysis of grazed versus ungrazed landscapes across Portugal and Spain. Well, they didn't need a big, probably multi-million pound or euro report to tell them that was going to happen. Ask any farmer. A rapid attribution study published July 30th, 2026 by the World Weather Attribution Group, an international network using peer-reviewed climate science methods. Oh, they must be accurate, right? Has now formally quantified what that combination produces. Fire weather conditions as severe as those that drove Spain's 2026 megafires are now at least 20 times more likely than they would have been in a pre-industrial climate. Again, they're using industrialization as the reason for this, which has got nothing to do with it, is because they've driven people off the land. In southern Western France, conditions enabling the Gironde blaze are at least twice as likely, but the study is explicit about something that separates it from a simple climate story. Warming alone does not explain the specific fuel conditions. They've got to get that in. It's the warming, right? That made these fires so large, so fast, and so far beyond containment. Weather whiplash, a wet winter loading the landscape with vegetation, followed by record heat, drying it to tinder, is doing half the work. And a continent's worth of abandoned rural land is ensuring that when the fire arrives, there is nothing in its path to slow it down. So it's too wet in the winter, right, because of climate change, and it's too hot in the summer because of climate change. That's the rationale. But you would think, see, this is totally opposite thinking to the previous one, right? They've got all that water comes in the winter, but they've abandoned the land. Why? Why would they abandon it if it was perfectly, reasonable to keep farming on it? Because of EU legislation, no doubt, in large part, putting all the regulations in place about the climate and all the rest of it. And you've got to have, you can't cut down the hedgerows and all this kind of thing, because there might be a bird or two living in there. Well, the birds will find somewhere else. They always did before, and that's when they weren't flying at the windmills, of course. So there you go. They've got them off the land, and here's the result. You're going to get wildfires. It doesn't take a genius, does it?
No.
The best people to farm the land are farmers. What's going to happen when the big agri-businesses go in there? I bet they'll be making fire breaks. And I bet they won't mess with the weather as much either. There'll be no forest fires or intensive droughts or anything when the big agri-businesses are there. Or maybe they'll just make themselves a rain cloud, and that's the only place it'll rain. Everybody else can wrinkle. That's it. So yeah, that's another weather one, water one. What's this one? This is a climate model one when it comes up. Here, this is a plausible deniability on the weather, right? Climate models get a key feature of El Niño wrong, undermining forecast accuracy. So that's your plausible deniability for any unknown storm that just happens to rile up within 10 minutes of your house and blows your house away or something. Oh, but it was El Nino. We couldn't predict it. I was speaking to a guy at the market. He's an older guy, about my age, and they do honey, make their own honey. And we get on really well, have a laugh and everything. And he was talking about how hot it was. I said, they mess with the weather, right? And he goes, what? You mean, what do you mean? I said, well, they could steer hurricanes, they can create storms, they can do anything. They could create forest fires if they want to, whatever.
What did he say to
And he
that?
says, how did they do that? So I brought up owning the weather by 2025. And I says, that's how they do it. And that was published in the 70s or something. I showed him, and I said, there's a weather weapons treaty in the United Nations as well. He says, weather weapons. I says, yeah, weather is used as a weapon. And that's why the US Air Force wants to own it. Because it's a weapon. And I says, explain something to me. I says, if they can steer hurricanes, why do they keep making landfall?
Exactly.
He just threw a blank look. I says, well, they can steer hurricanes. They shouldn't get anywhere near us, should they?
Yeah.
Steer them back out to sea, and that's the end of it. But I said, and it just so happened there was a couple of chemtrails up there. I said, see that up there? And it says, it says, oh, that contrail. I says, no, that's not a contrail. That's chemicals and metals and stuff like that. And they use that to reflect sunlight, they say, to keep the planet cool. But what it actually does, it traps all the heat under the clouds to make it hotter.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, no. I said, it was 120 degrees last week. I said, that's not normal. I says, they were spraying every day. He says, oh. So, sow a seed. He knows all the governments are corrupt, so I might take,
Mm-hmm.
I sent him the document. I said, yeah, send you that. You can read it. So we'll see if he does.
Good.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that's that. The climate models are going to have got a key feature of El Niño wrong. So what else have they got wrong? What else? What other information have they put in there that's erroneous, shall we say, or deliberately misleading to get the answers they want? But at least it's an admission the climate models can't get it right. Okay. So, this is another stupid one, right? I
Mm-hmm.
guess the wind. You know how the light bulb manufacturers lobbied governments to get these LED terrible lights into your house and to do away with iridescent light bulbs. Well, I guess the glass companies have been at the government. This is bird-safe glass must become the norm to prevent collisions with buildings. How does it prevent a collision with a building? It's still glass. They imply the bird can't see the glass, and that's why it hits the building, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what does it matter if it's bird-safe glass? It's not going to prevent collisions. They're still going to hit it.
Well, they're one of the pictures I noticed there shows like a painting of a bird on the glass. I mean, is that what they mean? They're just putting paint on the glass? So, I mean,
Bird-safe glass. Okay, well, we'll
yeah.
read it and find out. Birds are facing a crisis. Windmills. Yeah. Nearly 3 billion birds have been lost across North America. And birds don't get lost. They know their way about.
Or-
Since 1970, as a result of human activities impacting birds and their habitats. How do they know? Have they got tags on them all?
Yeah.
Huh? Each year, billions of birds migrate across vast ranges spanning the Americas. See, they don't get lost. For many, the journey is fatal. Well, that's normal as well because some of them just get tired and fall out of the sky. In Canada, tens of millions of birds are killed annually by crashing into glass on buildings, most of which are low-rise or residential. Oh, it's not the big buildings, is it?
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be the banks or anything like that. No, 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 no. This makes collisions with glass a leading direct cause of bird fatalities. Oh dear. Yet governments lack momentum to address the causes. Nearly 2 decades after Toronto became the first, or Canada, became the first city in the world to consider bird safety in its planning process. Never mind the people, right? Canadian cities are now trailing behind global peers in protecting birds from colliding with buildings. I thought we were all supposed to be worried about bird flu. Wouldn't it be a great thing if 3 billion birds a year died? Well, that stopped the spread. I don't know. Just saying. Uh, the Ontario government recently passed legislation that prohibits municipalities from enforcing green building standards, including bird-safe design, through their local planning process. This change appears to conflict with federal laws protecting birds that apply to building. Now, I don't know who wrote this, but they're pretty stupid. This change appears to conflict with federal laws protecting birds that apply to building owners. That implies that the birds are applying to the building owners for their bird-safe glass, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I wonder how they do that. Put your signature here. I've only got clause. That'll do. Sign there. Canada's Migratory Bird Regulations and Species at Risk Act, I guess that'll be CMBRSRA, prohibit killing birds by causing collisions even unintentionally. What are they saying? Some of these birds are suicidal and do it deliberately. Is that what they're saying? Fines can range up to $1 million per animal for killing a listed species at risk. You didn't kill it. It flew into a building. Uh, uh, I don't know. Ah, it puts a new spin on guns kill people, right? I mean, oh, you got the wrong kind of glass. Oh, the wrong kind of glass.
This
Uh,
is a total aside, but did you see there was a shooting? I don't remember which one, but a young fellow went crazy and shot up, and his father has received 15 years in prison for, first of all, having given his son a gun as a gift and not recognizing signs of his son's mental illness. So the father is going to jail for this. So this will be one where, yeah, absolutely, you didn't recognize signs that the birds were unable to see the glass, and you
When,
didn't.
when I saw that bald eagle flying at me from a distance, I didn't have time to change
That's
the glass. I'm sorry. And it had its claws out. I think it was going for me, actually. Yeah, it saw me through the window. Yeah. Our new research explores strategies for designing bird-safe cities. Bird-safe cities? Have you ever heard anything so ridiculous? Using Toronto as a case study, we examined how collaborative planning can balance development with ecological sustainability, reducing bird collisions with buildings. There you go. Reducing bird collisions with buildings starts with following design guidelines during the planning process. Birds drawn to green spaces in cities do not understand reflections on glass and cannot see glass that appears transparent. So how do they see the reflection if they can't see the glass?
Mhm.
I don't know. Uh, I mean, is it like the dog looking over the bridge with the bone in its mouth and seeing the other bone in the bottom and thinking that's a bigger bone? I think I'll go for that one. Is it that kind of thing? Maybe they see the bird in the window and think, oh, I'd rather fancy that bird there. Looks just like me. I think I'll ask her out. Oops, pane of glass, damn. In some Canadian cities, buildings have patterns of dots applied on windows and glass railings. These visual markers, first invented in Toronto, are proven to help birds detect glass and avoid colliding. Maybe they think they're insects and hit them anyway. Designing cities that are safe for birds also involves considering how birds move between habitats and interact with threats in the built environment. In our study, I wonder how much you got paid for this. Eh? In our study, we convened experts and professionals who work in fields ranging from architecture, architecture, engineering, and facilities management to integrate perspectives on bird safety across disciplines. So they know nothing about birds. They're
Mhm.
not an expert on birds. Through a co-design workshop, we identified key barriers, that's the windows, and opportunities to promote wider adoption of bird-safe city building practices. Our paper translates lessons learned in Toronto for a global audience and highlights needs and progress at institutional, local, and regional scales. All sounds nice, doesn't it? Our
Mhm.
results inform how professionals can be educated by our collaborators. There's a good word, collaborators at, at Flap Canada. What do that stands for? That's an acronym. Oh, I can link on that. Hold on. Let's see what that says. What is Flap Canada? It's
Right.
preventing bird building collisions across Canada. Uh, it doesn't say what it means, does it? Nah, it doesn't say. That's
It
weird. Oh, it's
doesn't
good.
say.
That's where the image comes from. That's on that article, actually. Uh, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take. Oh, Fatal Light Awareness Program.
Fatal light awareness program.
Yeah.
Fatal light.
Yep.
What if the lights are off?
Well, here it is. FLAP Canada, formerly known as the Fatal Light Awareness Program, is a registered Canadian charity and the preeminent authority on mitigating bird building collisions. Headquartered in Toronto, where I got it, they better have bird safe glass. The organization works to save migratory birds through education, advocacy, research, and the implementation of bird safe building standards.
Hmm. I wonder
So,
if they got one.
honestly,
Oh,
I
sorry.
mean, the redux that I put up on a week ago Sunday, Alan talks about the electronic messing about, and this is
Mhm,
military. I mean, they've known that they're beaching whales and beaching dolphins and sending birds crashing down to their death
mhm,
because their sonar, whatever their inbuilt system is being disrupted by technology, by high technology.
mhm.
And then there's the windmills. But no, we
Uh,
gotta have Flap Canada.
yeah. Well, light awareness. As I say, what if the light's off in
Yeah,
that window?
yeah.
The bird's not going to be aware of it then, is it? It's going to be flying along quite happy, thinking, "Oh, that's a nice dark hole. I'll go and sleep in there."
Well, Your Honor,
No.
I just couldn't afford to pay the light bill anymore. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
20
Data center
years,
take all the
20 years.
electricity.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that. That's yeah, bird safe glass, right? What next? I mean, right. I tell you what, we should have armadillo safe yards, right? So we
Hmm.
won't get leprosy.
Yeah.
Maybe if I get an armadillo in my yard, right, and I don't catch it quick enough, and it goes across to my neighbour's yard, and he gets leprosy, I go to prison because I didn't take adequate measures to secure that armadillo on my property and call the authorities to come get it. We've got to be responsible for everything, haven't we?
Yes.
Eh, well, I mean, I don't spray my yards, right, like most people do around here with toxic chemicals, right? So my neighbour has their yard service, they come, and when they spray their yard, I get all the insects flying into mine. Can I not sue them if I get
Yeah.
bitten by these mosquitoes and everything? Hey, that's your fault. You sprayed your yard. You won't take any adequate measures. You should have put a big net up there to stop these things flying over here. But yeah,
Mm.
bird safe glass, I guess. I mean, there's nothing here about the safety of humans, right? Unless it involves militarized police officers. That's your safety. I don't know. How about this one? Talking about AI centers. This is from WRAL News on the 30th of July. Public hearing set for nearly 650 diesel generators tied to an Amazon data center. So, because of all the fuss about the data centers using all the electricity, they're going to bring in 650 diesel generators to power the place. Yeah, that's environmental friendly, right?
Hmm.
Imagine what it's going to smell like around there. Never mind all the heat it's going to generate from a data center and the generators. And how many trucks of diesel will have to be shipped in there every day of the week?
Uh,
Yeah, and those trucks run on diesel too. So they're building this big data center in Richmond County. Uh, we need they need air permits for generators. Okay, why does one data center need nearly 650 diesel generators? That's one of the questions expected to dominate a public hearing Thursday evening as the North Carolina regulators consider draft. They like to put these words in, don't they? Draft air permits. It's a draft of an air permit. It's not a draft air permit. For Amazon's $10 billion data center campus in Richmond County and Duke Energy's temporary generators that would power the site until permanent electric service is available. Yeah, so they are going to hook up, but they're going to use 650 generators in the meantime.
yeah.
Uh, but see, it's okay. They've got to say, well, we're not going to take your electricity. We're not going to take it yet. Uh, we'll wait till this all dies down, and then you start complaining about the generators, right? Well, the only solution is to hook up to the mains, right? Because they're going to complain about the generators. Because imagine the noise.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the data centers make enough noise as it is. Never mind that. And then, as I say, the smell. These all these diesel generators have an exhaust, and it isn't nice. You walk past one of these things, you know. I mean, there's some of these food trucks at some of the markets. They've got these tiny little generators, and they stink. But 650 of them in a closed space. Wow. Amazon has applied for permits covering 588 emergency backup generators across its planned 21 building campus. Duke Energy is seeking approval to modify an existing permit for 57 temporary bridge power generators until the campus is connected to the electric grid. So I guess when it gets cut off from the electricity because they're using too much of it, they'll just go back to the diesel generators, I
Yeah.
guess. Bill Norton, a Duke Energy spokesman, said those 57 leased portable generators would provide temporary power only during construction and testing, and are permitted to operate for less than a year and will be paid for by Amazon Web Services rather than Duke Energy customers. Well, they're going to save the big bill for them when they connect it to the mains, right?
Hmm.
Combined, the projects would bring 645 diesel generators to the site. That scale has become a focal point for some residents. For William Ingram, co-founder of the Richmond County Coalition for Justice and Black Empowerment, what? Oh, here we go. Bring in the race card, right? The hearing is about more than permit limits. He said many residents are only now learning the scale of the project. Why did it take them so long? Uh, I was surprised, Ingram said. A lot of folks had no idea this is the type of Amazon center coming here. We all thought it was going to be a distribution center. Really? The City Commission had to approve this, right? So there must have been public knowledge of it well before this. Ingram said he spent Wednesday handing out fact sheets throughout Richmond County and talking with residents ahead of Thursday's hearing. We are not against development, Ingram said, so he's on board with it, right? We want inclusion. All we're asking is that you include us in these decisions. And that makes it all right, does it? Yeah, you can have your 650 million, 650 diesel generators. You've included us. And we now have black empowerment. So yeah, knock yourself out. Amazon said each of the campus's 21 buildings requires backup power to ensure uninterrupted service for cloud computing customers that include hospitals, first responders, utilities, and national security agencies. Not for general public, right? Not for our
No.
use.
Mm-mm.
The company estimates the generators would operate about 5 to 15 hours annually for routine testing and maintenance, with additional operation during emergency outages. That's like 24 hours a day, right? 650 generators.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon said the engines will use Tier 4 emissions controls, the EPA's strictest standard for diesel engines, and emissions data will be reported regularly to the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality, along with a number of big brown envelopes for the people that make
Yeah.
the decisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even so, some residents and environmental groups question whether hundreds of diesel generators belong in a community they say already faces environmental challenges. They question it, do they? They question it. They should be absolutely livid and say, no, you're not having it.
Mm-hmm.
Simple as that. After months of technical review, state regulators say the project meets state and federal air quality requirements until they turn them on. They've not been turned on yet.
Mm-hmm.
According to the DEQ, air quality experts again, evaluated emissions using computer models. So they've not actually turned on the generators to actually study the air. It's all done on computer models. And remember, they can be wrong. That accounted for emission rates, weather patterns. So they're predicting the weather now,
Mm-hmm.
right? Topography, background air quality. What's background air quality? Isn't air quality air quality? And how pollutants disperse in the atmosphere. So now they're admitting there's going to be pollutants as well, blowing into the community from 650 diesel generators. I wonder what the cancer rate there will be in 10 years' time. The agency said both Amazon's and Duke Energy's modelling found emissions would remain below health-based standards beyond the facility's property lines if the companies comply with permit conditions, which they won't. Norton said Duke was not required to submit a separate air permit application for the temporary generators because they will operate near the company's Smith Energy complex. Duke voluntarily included them under the existing power plant's air permits. So they just lumped them in with something else. We've already got a permit for it. We're just adding another 58 generators to it. No problem. He said emissions from the plant and temporary generators combined will remain below permit limits designed to protect public health and the environment. So there you go. And it goes on a little bit more, but that's all you need to know, really. They're just going to get round it by messing about with permits and stuff and lying to people. And here's another one on Reuters, which I can't have a look at either. It's just the title, just to throw another bit of corruption into the mix, if I can get it to come up, the title.
Defense technology company SpaceEye has agreed to go public through a merger with special purpose acquisition company McKinley Acquisition Corp in a deal valuing the combined business at $638 million, according to 4 people familiar with the matter. President Donald Trump's son, Eric Trump, has recently become the 3rd largest private investor in the original SpaceEye, which has operated primarily as a research and development company and generated about $1 million in annual revenue. Eric Trump will serve as a strategic advisor to the combined business following the transaction, the people said. It's four people.
Yeah.
Adding he helped introduce potential board candidates to the new public company. The Miami-based company develops artificial intelligence-powered counter-drone and geospatial intelligence technologies for governments and agencies. While it is so far mostly a technology developer, it plans to scale up the business using third-party manufacturers, allowing it to expand into government contracts in different continents and into corporate clients, from cruise companies to data centers. The investment thesis is based on expected contract growth rather than existing revenue. The company is currently negotiating contracts worth around $35 million over a period of 5 years, compared with the company's current awards, which are typically valued annually at $300,000 to $400,000. Those could include monitoring drug trafficking in the Caribbean, defense applications in the Middle East, or preventing drone-borne contraband from entering U.S. prisons. I wonder if it can spot leprosy-carrying armadillos.
Well, that'd be handy.
Yeah, as part of his new role, Eric Trump is expected to advise the company on security threats posed by drones and other emerging technologies, drawing on his experience with security issues surrounding the White House. He's an important advisor that connects us to people and opportunities, and he's an advisor that brings the intelligence. Whose intelligence is he bringing? The transaction is expected to provide up to $251.7 million in gross proceeds, including capital held in McKinley's trust account and a planned private investment in public equity, or PIPE, financing. The deal reflects growing investor interest in defense technology companies as governments worldwide increase spending on drone detection, autonomous systems, and AI-driven battlefield intelligence. SpaceEye's model is inspired by software and data analytic providers such as Palantir. Palantir, a major U.S. government contractor, reported an adjusted operating margin of 60% in the first quarter.
Well, I mean, it's amazing how quickly the story got away from the Trump family being involved in it
Yeah.
and went into the gory details of what they were going to do with it. Yeah, that's keep it in the family, right? You're going to be corrupt, keep it in the family.
Yeah.
Okay, talking about drones. Russia rebuilds captured Ukrainian drones for false flag attacks on Europe. Funnily enough, this is written by a guy called Ivan Komenko. And if you look him up, he's a Ukrainian, surprise, surprise. He's a public policy expert with over 6 years of experience in policy analysis, communication, and advocacy campaigns. Currently, he's actively engaged in various projects spanning education, social, health, environmental, and cultural spheres. Ivan has also contributed to improving the business climate through projects on deregulation and the rule of law. Ivan's work includes collaborations with international partners like USAID, the World Bank, and UNDP. So there you go. He's not biased at all, is he?
No.
But what a great excuse for Ukraine actually sending drones into Europe and attacking them to get them into the war, right? Written by a Ukrainian, of course. Yeah. So if Russia wanted to really was on the cusp of attacking Europe, they'd just do it and everybody would know it was them. Right? If the war was real, right? They wouldn't give them any warning. I mean, none of this war rhetoric makes any sense at all.
No, an article that I saw yesterday said that this is a window of opportunity for Trump to step in on Russia, Ukraine, and help them negotiate peace. And so I just took a quick glance at it, and it said Putin has long been wanting to bring this to an end, but is needing the U.S. to broker a deal. And it's, I stopped reading at that point. It's like, come on, if two countries can't just send out their own emissaries and say, hey, let's stop this, it's just theater.
Yep. Trump says he wants out of NATO, right? So he's going to pull out of NATO. He pulls out of NATO, and Europe's got to look after itself, right? Blah, blah, blah. Russia, if this was all real, Russia would say to Europe, do you really want to go ahead with this? Do you really want to be on our borders? Get the F out of our sphere of influence and mind your own business. Or else. And Europe would panic and go, okay, we're gone. Tomorrow. It'd be over.
Absolutely.
Because Russia could flatten the place if they really wanted to. Just the same as Iran and Israel. If Iran was really bombing Israel for, what are we now, 150 days or something, it wouldn't be there. It would look like Gaza.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's all nonsense. And they're all still partying in Kiev and all these places. Like there's no tomorrow, yeah. They're all out in the streets. So there's no curfew. There's no blackouts. There's nothing that you'd expect in any kind of war scenario.
Mm.
Nothing. There's no rationing. There's no nothing. The lights are still on.
They can water their lawns.
They can water the lawns, yeah. And they don't have to worry about armadillos over there, I tell you. But yeah, so that's Russia rebuilds captured drones, right? I mean, what kind of state would these things be on? In like, what can they not just take the VIN number off of it and stick it on a Russian one and go, there you go, that'll do. You know, because there's nothing left of the drone, is there? When it crashes, that's it, it's done. Do we really, are we really supposed to believe that they've got these technical experts out in the field picking up bits of drone and sticking them back together?
Yeah, reverse engineering.
Yeah, they're really doing that in a war zone,
Yeah.
right? How can you tell one piece of machinery from the other when it's blown to pieces? It's ridiculous.
Well, that's what those forensic experts,
Yeah, yeah,
they make the big
yeah,
bucks.
yeah. Russian forces are collecting Ukrainian drones that survive crashes or electronic warfare interference, repairing them and preparing the aircraft for possible future provocations, according to Seri Flash is his nickname, I guess, Be Beskresnov, an advisor to the Ukrainian president on defense technology development. Like that little weasel, Vladimir, knows anything about defense technology. He's too busy playing piano with his penis, right? That guy. Um, Bestreskov made the statement on August 2nd after footage from a Ukrainian interceptor drone showed an aircraft resembling Ukraine's FP-1 and FP-2 long-range drones operating under Russian control. So it looked a little bit like a Ukrainian one. So they're jumping to the assumption that the Russians have built this from scrap. I can tell you with certainty, right, that the enemy is collecting our surviving drones, repairing them, and preparing them for future provocations. Best, BB, I'll call them maybe. I don't know. Does anyone really believe that the mysterious UAVs over Europe were and will be supercams and Orlans with stars on their wings? It is very important that the international community understands all of this. This is how modern hybrid warfare works. Maybe you could ask Mr. Giordano about that next week. Uh, the aircraft visible in the interceptor footage had a straight wing configuration, fuselage proportions, and a tail design consistent with Ukraine's FP series drones. Maybe they're just copying some of the design features because they found them to be more useful in certain circumstances, and they're not got nothing to do with Ukraine. Russian forces could obtain such aircraft after they are forced to land by electronic warfare systems or crash because of technical failures. Drones that remain partially intact could potentially be repaired, could potentially, reprogrammed, studied, or used as a basis for replicas. In July, Polish Defense Minister Władysław Kozyniak-Kamysz warned that Russia had recovered a significant number of Ukrainian drones and could use them in false flag operations against Poland or other NATO members. Blah, blah, blah.
Okay,
Uh,
so let's just talk about something here as a little aside. This is a terrifying thing. It's a scary thing. It's got to be considered and thought about. But meanwhile, the U.S. Congress is voting to share all of our military technology, research and development, access, surveillance, you name it, everything, and what has been described, and I think accurately, as a merging of the two militaries.
mhm.
But this is outrageous that people are picking up and putting together drones. I mean,
Yeah,
really think
yeah.
about it. It's so,
Well, Ukraine's a staunch ally of Israel as well.
yeah,
So what's to stop Ukraine sending a few drones to Israel and they fire them
yeah,
into Europe? How about
hmm
that?
yeah.
That would work. So yeah, United 24 News that was, in case anybody doesn't ever want to see them. Don't go there. Protect Ukrainian skies. Subscribe to Sky Defense. There we go. How does that help protect Ukrainian skies by subscribing to a website? I don't know. Right, well, talking about drones, let's talk about robots. FedEx and UPS will go the same way, I'm sure, and as will Amazon. Now, having worked at UPS and Amazon, I've never seen the freight trucks at Amazon, but I've seen them at UPS. They do not load freight trucks at UPS in any particular order. The boxes are literally thrown in the back, right? They don't stack them. They don't do any of that stuff. They throw them in the back as quick as they can get them in there, and the trailer heads off. And when they get to the depot, you have a bunch of guys who manually take them out and sort them out and put them on the right belt. Now, a robot ain't going to be able to do this. That's a human being job. You can't, because the robot won't get in there for a start. They show this truck in this image, right, with a stack of boxes at one end, and the belt is actually right in the back of the truck, like that, right? Now, at UPS, this belt would be right at the back door of the truck, because obviously that's as far back as a package is going to go when you just throw them all in there. Uh, so that's what they do anyway. There's nothing like the show in this image. That's been staged for sure. Anyway, FedEx moves closer to deploying robots that can load trailers. Other tech companies working to automate trailer unloading process. So it's loading and unloading. Thursday was a busy day for companies developing automated truck loading and unloading technology. FedEx Core announced it was scaling up use of a specialized robot for loading truck trailers at its Hagerstown, Maryland hub after validating the technology from startup Dexterity Inc. over several years. I'd like to see this robot picking up something that weighs like 120 pounds. I don't see it's going to be able to do that without toppling over. We have to do that by hand, by the way. We drag that off a belt and put it in a truck. And Pickle Robot Company said it will pair its trailer unloading robot with ambient robotics system to automate the movement of packages from the trailer through pallet stacking and warehouse receiving operations. They don't stack pallets. They just go straight onto the belt, and they come down the belt, and people sort them out into which truck they go on. That's how it works. The expanded use case in Hagerstown will allow FedEx to continue evaluating Dexterity's AI-enabled trailer loading system at a larger operational scale in a high-volume logistics environment. Technology assistance is being pursued to improve worker safety and network efficiency. I don't see how it's safe for workers. I don't see any safety measure there. As I say, if it's a £120 package and the robot can't lift it, the worker's going to have to get in there with the robot while the robot's still swinging about, apparently loading packages onto the conveyor belt and ducking and diving and trying to get by it, I guess. I don't see how that's safe. Loading and unloading trailers is one of the most physically demanding and challenging tasks for warehouse workers in FedEx's package operations. Oh, I know. Requiring real-time problem solving. Like, how am I going to get that £120 package into that truck? I'll just carry it. Automating that workflow has been difficult because of the variability of package sizes, weights, and loading conditions. Yeah, just said that, as well as the need to implement it across thousands of trailers in the FedEx system. The advent of physical AI, which lets autonomous systems like robots perceive, understand, reason, and perform or orchestrate complex functions in the real world by executing movements through motors, robotic arms, or wheels, has brought the technology closer to commercial reality. I don't know if you want me to read any more of this because it's rubbish.
I think that's enough. I still see a few other articles that we need to get to. So yeah, let's leave the rubbish aside.
Right, which ones? Because I've only got 4 left here.
Well, let's see. Just going across the
Well,
top
the New York
here.
Times one I can't get, right? That's European wildfires amplified by emptying countryside. We mentioned
Okay.
that one, didn't we?
Yeah.
We did that
Yeah.
one.
And
Yeah,
I think that's good enough just to mention the title. There's another
we'll get rid of this one now.
there's another New York Times title I'll give us to. Trump administration is repurposing federal land for
Oh
AI
yeah,
data centers.
yeah.
So those are two headlines for you. Now, and I think
Well,
that
here's another one on data centers.
yeah.
SpaceX plan to launch 1 million data center satellites could
Hmm.
turn atmosphere into a fire pit.
Good.
Scientists say the company wants to put a network of data centers in orbit. Where are they going to get the water and electricity? Ah, I think there's a glitch in here somewhere.
A
Maybe they don't need it.
little town in Colorado that just went
Yeah, well,
yeah,
if no, well, I mean, if they're telling us that they're using all this electricity and water, how are they going to get it in space?
one
I mean,
bucket at a time.
one bucket at a time. Okay, maybe they'll have like truckloads of diesel generators going up there. A diesel generator station, like well, the space station they tell us is up there. Maybe that's it. Scientists say the plan comes with severe environmental risks. Hmm, right. Yeah, I can't read that one either because I've got to pay NBC News 150 a month. So,
Yeah,
but
no, I can't see that either, but the headline was good enough. Yeah.
a SpaceX proposal to launch up to 1 million data satellites has scientists concerned that the project will pump Earth's atmosphere full of vaporized spacecraft material. That means they're going to crash, right? That means they're going to fall out of the sky. What
Yeah.
when
It's
the power's cut off?
space junk.
Space junk. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I wouldn't be worried too much about armadillos, but a satellite comes crashing down my backyard, I might have a problem. But then I should have thought ahead and got satellite junk safety glass or something like that
That's right. Yeah.
to protect me and the neighbours. And I should have informed them there might be a satellite drops on your roof. You better get a satellite safety roof, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I've got two left here. I've got Exxon Chevron warn fuel prices to endure as war knocks refining. Another excuse for keeping the price high, right? But again, I've got to subscribe to keep reading it again. High fuel prices are likely to stick around even if oil prices drop. Here's a double speak, right? In the coming months, as the wars in Russia and the Middle East leave global refining capacity critically short. ExxonMobil Holdings Corp and Chevron Corp wanted, I nearly said there. Gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel prices typically rise and fall with crude oil, but the link is growing tenuous because so many refineries have been knocked offline, causing fuel prices to remain stubbornly high and accelerating inflation even as oil falls. The constraint pain point in the energy system is refining. Uh, ExxonMobil Chief Financial Officer Neil Hansen said in an interview, it's something that perhaps the market isn't fully focused on. Well, why doesn't the market tell them, stop bombing refineries, please? We're struggling here. But they keep bombing refineries, right? And was it the last Redux you put up? Alan was talking about how they bombed the oil places in the Middle East
Hmm.
during the Iraq War.
Right,
The first,
right.
the first Iraq War, I think it was. And they set them all on fire. And then the big companies like this, ExxonMobil and all them, got the big contracts to go and rebuild them all. Well, the same thing's been done now, isn't it? Exactly the same. They're bombing all the
Absolutely. Yeah.
refineries. These guys will go out and rebuild it all. And that'll be that. Big boom for them. So that's where that's going. And the last one I've got up here, you may have others, is income support told me I don't need to get a job. A total difference from what we've been talking about. But yeah, that's on the BBC, so it must be true. And it just popped up. I've got to pay them $9 a month. Damn, why are you doing that? So I can't even read that one. That was the title.
Well, I can read a little bit of it, and it just says when a single mom, Linda Pang, was told she did not need to get a job until her daughter turned 3. She was shocked. It left her wondering whether the benefits system was designed to help people like her who want a job or to keep her on benefits. People do want to work, said the 26-year-old. It's not that we're a society having children and then wanting to stay at home. We do want to work, but it's hard to find that support. Peng lives in a bed sit run by an emergency housing charity and works 2 jobs to send her 2-year-old to nursery where she can mix with children her
Okay, okay.
age.
I've got
Yeah.
I've got this to come up for some reason. I think.
Okay.
Do people in the UK and the US know what a bedsit is?
I don't, but you could
Right.
tell us.
A bedsit is literally one room with your kitchen, your bathroom, your bed, and that's your living area. The whole thing is in one room. So you have a bed to sit on and you have something to sit on. Your bed's normally a bed settee and your kitchen, and you've got a little bathroom with a door on it. That's about it. But the rest's all in one room, and it's normally like the side of a standard bedroom, tiny. So there you go. That's what that is.
Okay, so like dormitory living in a way, except
Yeah,
smaller and more uncomfortable.
yeah, and usually terribly maintained. Okay, I can read this. It's not that we're a society having children and then wanting to stay at home and do what, blah, blah. Pineland's the best. She said an encounter with an officer at Guernsey's Committee for Employment and Social Security, ESS, made her question the system. Income support told me I don't need to get a job until my daughter is 3, and then I only need to work 15 hours a week. She said, I think we should encourage people for their mental health or fitness. I think we should encourage people to go to work and help them with childcare if that's what's needed. So they want to get the children off them. right? Majority are
Absolutely.
working.
I mean, that's the whole thing. Grab them, train them, educate them. Don't
Yeah.
give the parents any time to be with them or, and
Hmm.
give them your values.
Yeah. Majority are working. ESS President Tina Burry rejected suggestions the benefit system discourages work. Well, it absolutely does, arguing the income support system was designed to make employment worthwhile. That's why there's so many people on the dole, right? Because it's really worth getting a job when they're getting everything paid for. I mean, there should be a safety net for people who generally, I don't know, get made redundant or through illness can't work. There should be a support. But the vast majority of people that are in this system either don't want to get out of it or can't get out of it simply because they can't earn enough working to cover what they're getting. I mean, they get the rent and everything paid. The price of rents now, you have to have a very good job
Yeah.
to get rid of all that
Yeah.
free money, as it's
Yeah.
called.
Or
Uh,
or preferably at least, two the couple, both people working and multi-generational families are living together and they all have to work to cover the rents of these places.
yeah. Or get a job on the city commission. Just one of you, that'll do. You
Yeah,
still get a good income
yeah,
from that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I would encourage any parent in receipt of income support who feels they have been discouraged from working to contact me, and I will discuss this with officers. Did she didn't put her phone number here? I bet she'd have got lots of calls. Director of the Guernsey Community Foundation and former head of income support, Jim Roberts, said the island's benefit system was designed to encourage people into work. Well, this girl's just been told, nah, you don't have to work, so he's lying. The default is you will maximize your earnings and then the system will top you up as much as required until the point where you're earning more than the system would give you. Well, the way this works is if, I don't know, I'll pick a figure out there. If you're earning £1,000 a month, right, $1,000, right, and this, or 999, right, and they'll say, well, you're allowed to earn 1,000, so they'll give you $1, right, to make it up to 1,000. If you earn 1,001, then you get hit with all the taxes and everything, so you end up with like 800. That's how it works.
Ugh.
So you have to earn way above what they sell you because you're going to have to be paying back into the system.
Hmm.
Uh, so you can't do it. If you're in that trap, it's very difficult. My son and his wife managed to get out of it just by working, working, working. But thankfully they did because I told him you've got to get out of that system because that will strangle you. There are families working full time that still need that top up just to get them to that basic requirement. So it's the basics, right? This is what they call Social Security. You've got the basics. That's all you're getting, right?
Hmm.
And if
Yeah.
and it's always the first thing to be cut as well. Somebody at actually the wife of the guy I was telling you about earlier, she was saying that they're planning to cut Social Security by 22% here because
Really,
they need more
really.
missiles, right? They need more missiles.
Well, they're always telling us too that Social Security's got one more year or three more years. It's not
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
sustainable.
yeah. Well, maybe if they encourage people to work and people paid into it, that may help, right? Would it? I thought that was the whole point. Like they're bringing all these the migrants in was because American people were too lazy or British people were too
Well,
lazy and we need these people to work.
yeah, any excuse.
Yeah.
Pl yeah. Plus, they poison us with a variety of things, including the latest jib jab,
Hmm.
so that people are infertile. But hurry up and bring them in from someplace else where the fertility is not as compromised as they have done in the West by design for decades.
Yeah. Until they start sterilizing them as well when they've done their job.
Yep.
Uh, if you look at everybody on income support of working age, the majority are working. Yeah, barely. They're only going to work 14 and a half hours a week, right? They don't want to go over the 15 or they're going to get penalized. This is how they say that we've got so many people employed. Unemployment rate's way down. Da da da. They're all working 15 hours a week. We've got three people doing one job. That's how it works, and none of them's making any money. It's like the markets. You have 15 vendors and four of them are selling cookies. Well, none of them are going to make any money. It's the same thing, same type of scenario. Currently, Guernsey State offers 15 hours of free preschool education for children in the year before they go to school. So there you go. They're getting your children for 15 hours a week while you're just getting the basics. So instead of spending the 15 hours with your child, you know,
Hmm. Hmm.
you're getting crumbs. In 2016, deputies voted to reduce family allowance by £2.40 per child each week as a way of funding most of the new provision. More than half of, so just take it off the people that need it the most, I guess. More than half of the island's current states members told Charity Island families at last year's general election they supported the state-sponsored preschool hours. Of course they did. Education, sport and culture. How do those three go together? Eh? Vice President Andy Cameron said he wanted to double the entitlement to 30 hours per child, but did not specify how it would be paid for. Say so they want to get the children for another 15 hours a week, right? Such a move would be a big help to Pang, since a large portion of her monthly income goes towards childcare. It swings and roundabouts, so that you earn it and have to pay it back in childcare. Now, why bother going to work? That's the whole point, isn't it? It's pointless her going to work if she's just got to plough it back into having
Hmm.
somebody brainwash her child.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So she's paying for somebody to brainwash her child, basically. That's what she's working for. Or her
Yeah,
own self-esteem or something. I don't know, just to get
that's
away from the kids. Um, it's hard to find that support, and unless you have a family that can look after your child 5 days a week while you go to work, then it's not feasible. Well, that's what used to happen, wasn't it? Your family helped you out. Yeah, I'll mind the kids. You want to go to work, that's fine. Granny will watch them. I want to spend more time with them anyway. Eh? Instead,
that's
she works. Yeah,
yeah.
go on.
I mean that ideally, yeah, that's how it should be because at least you know, hopefully
That,
you've got a granny that has some wisdom to impart.
yeah, well, that's still how it is in Eastern Europe. They still have that kind of thing going on.
That's good. That's
It's
good.
as long as the family's not been shepherded out of the villages into the cities, you know. But anyway, instead she works as much as I can at her second job on top of her first full-time job. So now she's working two jobs to pay childcare to people who are brainwashing a child. Great. It's then nursery pickups, bath, bed. I don't really get much time for myself, and the child doesn't see you, right? It's just a sacrifice to be able to have her in nursery. So she's working to put her kid in this nursery, where she's been taught she's probably born in the wrong body or something because she's played with a car or
Ah.
something like that, you know?
Honestly, if you think about the living situation, I mean, we don't know. Of course, every story is different, and you don't know. But would a extended family situation be so dysfunctional that it wouldn't be better? You know,
No.
it's just,
It's- but they've encouraged people to go work abroad or go work somewhere, go work in another state, or you've got to follow the work, right? Oh, I can get a good job in London. Oh, bye. We'll see the grandchildren next year, maybe, if you come back for a visit. That's how it is. So then
hmm
the
hmm
grandparents have got no contact with the grandchildren or their own children. And then they see them year on year, maybe, if they're lucky. I've not seen well, saw my son obviously this year, but I've not seen my dad for 3 years, but this kind of can't be helped. But here I am. I'm going back next year for his 90th.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
but yeah, right, I'm not going to tell him I'm coming. Just going to turn up. So yeah, that's that. It's not discouraging to work, but if you want to work two jobs and pay us to brainwash your child. Okay, I'll follow this up with what's happening in my personal life here. I told you we finally got help with the autistic lad after
Yes.
22 years.
Yeah. So
Well,
yeah. You've got a child that is
severely,
autistic.
severely, severely, severely.
Yeah.
Right, the worst case scenario, put it that way. And it's with these people got in touch, the Association for Persons with Disabilities. So they came around with a spiel on it, and they were like, "Oh, great, we've got help at last," you know. Uh, so there's three of us in the house. There's myself, uh, Paula, uh, Paula's other son who's 44, and the autistic lad who's 24. Um, and they say, right, okay, well we can sort this out. He's going to get an allowance each month between I don't know $4,000 $5,000, right? He doesn't get that money, right? It's in an account, right? And I'm not his representative, but Paul is his representative because if she doesn't get paid as his representative because that would be
Hmm.
seen as a conflict of interest. So she'll get to keep her social security, right? That's why we've done it this. And I'm going to do all the work, obviously, but I'm going to be paid as a carer, right?
Right.
And so is the other lad. So there's another two salaries coming in eventually, probably next month. But if we want to employ, say we have a friend who I'm not going to mention his name around that he knows, right, and he gets along with, and he's happy being around.
Hmm.
If it's his business, he's got to run it as a business, right? With tax numbers, everything. Obviously, he's not capable of doing that, so I'm going to be doing it. There's actually more work involved in this than me running my own business, which is crazy.
Wow.
So, if he wants to employ somebody from outside their you have to employ somebody from a pool of 92% of workers associated to them or aligned with them who are part of their network, right? So you have to employ up to 92% of their people. This is all corruption, right? This is all corruption. The taxpayers' money has to go back to them. It's corporate welfare. That's
Hmm.
what it is,
Hmm.
right? Um, and they get the other 8% for themselves, right? So I said to the lady, well, background checks and all the rest of the thing. If we employ somebody outside that network, he has to pay for their background check,
Hmm.
right? I said, where does the income come from? He doesn't have any money coming in. This money's in this account specifically to hire other people in salary. So he's not got an income. So how can we operate in a business? And she couldn't explain it to me. She said, well, that's just the way it's been set up. I says, but how can he pay for things like background checks and other things when he has no actual income coming into his bank account, his personal bank account? And she says, oh, it just has to come out of whatever money he gets. I says, so it's going to cost us to do this. And they go, oh, but you'll have another two salaries. Da, da, da. I says, but that's not his money.
Right.
That would mean I'd have to loan it to him, like, legally,
Hmm.
right? He's got no money. He's got his social security, which doesn't cover what it costs to keep him every month anyway.
Hmm.
We're always subsidising him, but that's different. That's families, supporting him. But
Right.
when it comes to this, if there's money coming into his business from outside, he's got to declare it as income.
Well, what did she say to that?
She couldn't answer it. I said, I've run businesses before, like, but this isn't a business if there's no income. She's all, but the income's there, in this. I guess it's like an escrow account or something. Uh, it's in this account here, and you can allocate these resources to the workers you need, companions, or like maybe he needs dental or whatever. This you can allocate that money to these things. I says, yeah, but he doesn't have any income to pay for the out-of-pocket stuff. She said, oh, you'll need to find it from somewhere. So it's all a racket. It's just a racket.
Well, what are you going to do?
Well, this is to force you to employ their people.
Right. Right.
You can't, obviously, if he's no income, he can't pay for background checks. And if we lend him money, it's seen as income, you've got tax on it.
Right.
So, double taxation. I've already been taxed on that money, thanks.
Wow.
So it's corporate welfare. These agencies have been set up just to screw the taxpayer.
Uh-huh.
Okay, it's going to help us out because he's going to be out of the house now and again and it's like that. But it's a racket.
Well, and also, it would be good. I know how long you waited for this. You applied for this
22
how,
years.
yeah, 22 years you've
I,
been
wa I
waiting.
wasn't here at
Yeah.
the time, but
Yeah.
22 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And then you get hit with this.
22 years
Yeah.
for an agency to step in and say, okay, you've been on the waiting list for this so-called benefit for more than 2 decades.
Hmm.
The autistic lad has gone from infancy to adulthood, waiting for
But
benefits that now you're now going to get double taxed on.
what? No, we're not going to. Well, we don't get taxed on the money that they put in his account. Only only if we have to supply him personally with cash to pay for outside services that aren't included in their program.
Yeah. I mean, it's that's what I think they call that graft, isn't
Yeah,
that graft?
grifting.
Well,
drift,
yeah.
drifting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it's it's just I don't know. As I say, it's corporate
Mm.
welfare, um, and but you're forced into accepting it.
Hmm.
But it's the only help we're going to get.
Mm.
So all we can do is just use their people, and that's it. And then they'll say, I'll pick a figure out there. I don't know how much we're going to get yet, but I've looked up and it could be three or four, 5,000. It could be any multiple of that. So say it's 5,000. They allocate a percentage of each service, a certain amount of money,
Hmm.
right? So our main ones would be companion, which is somebody who comes to the house and takes them away for the day, or 4 or 5 hours, as long as they can stand it. And then you've got carers, which is going to be the two of us in the house that are here permanently. Uh, Paul is the representative. I'll be doing the work, and she'll be doing the caring. So reversal roles. But it, it's and then yeah, carer, companion, and then there's if you want, I mean, have a, that's the only two we really need, unless there's a dental thing that needs done or something like that, because nothing else is going to work with them. Like you can't take him out to like get a job or anything. He's not going to do it. Uh, he's going to just go berserk. You can't even take him in a store without him trashing the place. But if there's only so much allocated towards caring and companionship, they're going to take the rest of that money back. Even
Hmm.
although we might need more of it for companionship and caring.
Hmm.
If say I got ill, right, and I couldn't earn money or something like that, and we needed somebody to come in and help with Jordan to come in the house, and they were a professional, right?
Hmm.
And they were like $28 an hour or something. Well, we couldn't afford it. We wouldn't be able to
Hmm.
do it because we go over our number of hours allocated to that service. It's got to be
Hmm.
spent on something else that we don't need,
Hmm.
but with their people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Wow.
that's only one agency. There's more of them. They're all at it.
Mm.
Everybody's got their snout in the trough. And, I mean, it shows you something that autism's an industry,
Oh, yeah.
an absolute industry, and it shows you how many autistic people there really are when it takes 22 years to get help.
Hmm.
You know. So yeah, that's it. I was trying to look up when this crowd started. Um, association. Well, there you go. It was only formed in 1995. Would that'd be around the time when the old MMR was getting launched, wasn't it?
Hmm. Yeah, it would be really interesting to know too, and probably something that you can't figure out, but how much money they make as, how well they're funded.
Well, they're charity. Come on. They wouldn't be
Well,
making any
yeah,
money.
but their
Oh,
charities are supposed to disclose, what
yeah,
their
yeah, yeah,
CEO makes, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah,
yeah,
it'd be very
yeah.
interesting.
Oh, American Association of People with Disabilities has a total annual revenue of approximately $4.85 million. dollars.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Expect.
I wonder what the CEO is making.
Well, hold on. It says expenses, 5,432. So they're in debt, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh no, wait a minute. They've got total assets of 11.6 million. Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I don't liabilities to net assets 8.8 million. So they're in credit, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, crooks. That's all you can say about it. Oh, they do
Wow.
fundraisers and all that kind of thing as well.
Mm.
But the money is because I had to do a test for it to do that.
Hmm.
Well, I did the test for Paula, but I had to do a test and you had to answer these questions, and you had to get 85% correct. There's 25 questions. I got one wrong, uh, but when I asked them which one it was, because I knew which one it was because their question was wrong. It was about
No.
tax. It's about taxation. I looked it up on the IRS website, and the answer to the question was wrong.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. So that was that.
Uh,
So yeah,
well,
that's the system we live in. Corporate welfare and also if you don't adhere to all their safety, well, maybe I should get autism safe glass put in the house. See how that works. And stuff like that. Autism safe furniture. Yeah, there's no such thing. Um, but if I, well, it'll be Paula, but I'll be doing it. If I make a mistake, a genuine mistake, they'll do an investigation to see if I'm misappropriating public funds and can cut us off until they come up with the conclusion.
hmm
And it could involve you going to prison.
hmm
I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask to do this. You're offering it. But hey, there's caveat. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. There's
Yeah.
always a
Don't
caveat.
ever make a mistake. You can't follow up with evidence.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
there you
I
go.
just thought I might go across and just give a couple of headlines that you had sent me that tie in that we don't have to read them, but I can link to them as they fit in. Like, so speaking of people who are struggling when you have all of these so-called safety nets. This is from the BBC UK. I can't afford to turn the oven on.
Oh yeah, I saw that
7.4
one.
million households struggling to buy essentials. 4 years into the cost of living crisis. I didn't know that they had called a new one, but almost
Yeah.
two-thirds of low-income families say they struggle to buy essentials such as clothes, heating, and food, according to anti-poverty charity, the Joseph Roundtree Foundation. Another one, we could look that
Yeah,
up and
yeah.
see. Yeah, yeah, it's such a racket. So I
Mhm.
won't read that, but I will put up the link
Well,
for it.
I sent that to you because I know that was something you said you were interested in before with
Yeah,
people
yeah.
dying of the cold. Never mind the oven. They can't put the heating on the
Yeah,
winter.
no, I mean, this poor woman that they're talking about, she's a widow. She spent the last 20 years of her life being full-time carer for her husband. He's gone now. She's 77. She said, I can't remember the last time I put the oven on. I can't afford to use it. I've got an air fryer I probably used about 3 weeks ago. Had two slices of toast. In other words, she thinks about how much electricity her toaster takes to
Mm.
use and
Well,
factors in how often she's
well,
going to.
she should get a smart toaster. It'll tell her. It'll tell her for her. She don't have to look it
Uh,
up.
yeah. And then a couple of things like we've got Trump Jr. making money on the drone thing. So I'm just going to share a
Hmm.
couple of headlines there. This is from The Guardian. Several U.S. schools to install pepper spraying drones to
Yeah.
respond to school shootings. Companies supplying drones said Ukraine war inspired effort where technique was effective in face of Russian attack. I can't, so it says it's not a paywall, but yeah, I can't see it there. Several schools across the U.S. are set to install pepper spraying drones as part of a new effort to respond to school shooting attacks. And they tell how they saw this. They can be flown from thousands of miles away and support two-way communication through an embedded speakerphone. Wouldn't you? So you're a student who's mistaken for some terrorist in the school, and you get pepper sprayed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or worse. Or worse.
or worse.
Yeah.
Here's one. Police are deploying 60 mile per hour autonomous drones. 60 mile an hour is pretty fast when you got something flying at you
Yeah.
to read your license plate from
Use
the
special glass for
sky.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it's a school shooting scenario they're talking about. What good's pepper spray going to do you?
yeah,
They'll
yeah.
have to be armed, right? They'll have to be armed drones
Hmm.
to combat the shooter, right?
Oh, they're armed with pepper spray. Let me see if there's anything else here that just
I
ties
did
in
saw a
with
little video.
something.
Yeah, I did see a little video. I should have got the link. It was only a 5 minute thing. It was about how much money the Trump family is making off all these watches and all this junk. And the guy's
Uh,
going, they're charging like $500 for this special red MAGA watch, blah, blah, blah. And I looked it up. I took it apart and looked at all the parts come from China. It costs about $5 to make it.
yeah, of
It's all from
course,
China,
of
all this
course.
junk.
of course.
Yeah.
And then, data centers and water. This is another one from The Guardian that you sent. Not enough water for UK's data center plans, a trade body says. Industry says government's failure to address cooling demands
Hmm.
means AI growth plans are fatally flawed.
Well, apparently they don't need water to cool them. I heard somebody say that. It's just they don't need water. There's other systems they could use, but the reason they're using the water is because it's the cheapest.
Mm,
And I did. It's like you've said before. Why are these things in the news? Why are we getting to hear about it?
hmm
And the same thing applies to flock cameras.
hmm
Flock cameras are all over the mainstream news. Oh, how bad they are. Cops are misusing them. Da 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 da. Why have people been told this? Is there something else in the background that's going to come along and take their place? And they'll say, "Hey, this is better,"
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah,
because they wouldn't tell us otherwise.
that's so true.
So I don't know.
Why now?
There's other companies. There's other companies that do these cameras, not just Flock. So maybe they shoot Flock out just to because we're all sheep, right?
Yeah,
Flock cameras. Maybe they'll come out with something that sounds nicer.
yeah.
Safety cameras, fluffy bunny cameras. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
know.
Oh, yeah. We're throwing flock under the bus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. The flock's going over the cliff.
Mm,
Yeah, because I mean, all it takes is they keep downplaying it. The stock price goes down and the company goes bust, right? That's what normally happens. And then some other company takes their place. Or they just buy that company and change its name. Well, we're not Flock anymore. We're Fluffy Bunny Camera Company. We can leave them all up. No problem. Yeah. We're not tapping into your personal information. Not at all.
no, we're Fluffy
Not at all.
Bunny. Why would
Yeah.
we do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Might,
So, yeah,
unless Fluffy Bunnies get the blame for some other form of disease. That might not be a good name choice.
mm,
Yeah, anyway, I'll spend my afternoon watching my back out in the yard in case I happen to see a rabbit or something or an armadillo, God forbid, across the street.
uh,
Because if it crosses the street, I'm going to right up to the neighbours and sue them for letting that thing loose.
mm, mm,
We have
mm.
raccoons here. I've told you before. They ate some of our chickens before, uh,
Yes, yes.
and they get the blame for rabies here.
Oh,
Now,
really?
if they were really carrying rabies, every dog in the neighbourhood probably have rabies because there's more raccoons than there are dogs. That's for sure. And they come out in broad daylight here. I told you that I've caught them swimming in my pool in broad daylight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And,
how nice of you to.
well, I accommodate them. Maybe that's why I don't get rabies. Come on, lads. Come on. You can have a swim. Leave me alone. If you see an armadillo, let me know. Okay. You ain't getting in the pool. Not with you nice raccoons. You nice little
Mm.
cutie things with the bandit mask on. Yeah. Anyway, so that was
Well,
that was
we've
that was all I had.
yeah, I think we did good. We got through a big pile, and I tell you what,
Mm.
uh,
The
they've got
world's messed
yeah.
up.
It really is. I've been thinking a lot about, end of an age, beginning of a new age, going into a new age, what it's all about. Everything. It's like you said, everything that they're showing us, and they are showing us really the
Mhm.
sci-fi world that we saw in the movies 20,
Mhm.
30, 40, 50 years ago, that
Well,
it's
we're getting into Terminator territory.
hmm hmm
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. But don't
Yeah.
worry, I'll leave us with one last article that you sent from Fortune magazine. Dr.
Is it a
Doom.
cheery one? Oh, it's
Yeah,
not.
oh,
Okay.
no, of course not. Why would I leave us for the cheery article? This
Give
is
us some
a
hope.
yeah, no, so a little hopium, a little
Yeah,
booster
yeah.
of hopium there. No, not me. AI,
Okay.
the future of work. Dr. Doom, Nouriel Rubini says we're headed for universal basic income or some form of socialism as AI revolutionizes work. He calls that optimistic. Well, there you go. I can't read it because it's paywalled here on Fortune
Okay.
magazine. I'm sure we could look up Dr. Doom
Doom.
here, yeah, and find out something. But I'll put this I'll either put up the link or I'll go find one that's free and accessible on Dr. Doom. So
Dr.
yes,
Doom.
we leave you with doom and gloom, but look, I think we're all surviving the best we can. I don't know that that's optimistic, but we are all doing the best that we can.
Yeah. Well, later this month, I'm going to start out in the garden again, so I'll start getting that going.
Good. Well, mine has it's awfully hot and I'm
Hmm.
keeping the tomato plants alive and I actually think, just given how hot it usually is here and I'm not talking about geoengineering or climate change or anything like that. Texas is hot in August and September and I actually am thinking that I will have some tomatoes come say mid-September or late September. I had a couple and then, literally
Yeah.
like a couple. It just
It's too
gets too
hot.
hot, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I've got I don't know when the last frost in your area is, but this card thing you pull out on that chart you got with the seeds, it
hmm
only goes to the end of December.
yes.
So I'm looking at that going, okay, I need to go a couple of weeks further forward with that because the first frost here isn't until January sometime.
Here, really, we don't have frost to worry about until usually January either.
Yeah,
So,
we had that cold spell was the end of February
hmm
this year.
yeah, that's
So
about how it is here too. It gets really cold in January and February. It can be cold, but
yeah, so I'm
it's
looking at this chart and thinking maybe a month. I might jump that a month ahead for the
yeah.
planting time. So I might actually go into September before I have to do anything.
Yeah.
But I'll prepare the ground anyway.
Well, as far as I know, we can be the second Thursday of September. So we'll shoot
Well,
for that.
might have to do it earlier because
Oh,
myself and Paul are going away for a few days.
oh, how exciting.
Because we
Okay.
couldn't do it on our 10th anniversary was last month, and
Oh, okay.
we couldn't go away then, so we're going between the 7th and the 10th, which would fall on the second Thursday. So might have
Okay.
to do it the week
Well,
before.
we can record. Maybe it can even still go up on the usual time. But at any rate, I thank you very much for joining me and all of the wonderful, cheerful, and optimistic news that you brought us today.
We had some nice animal stories. It wasn't their fault they got leprosy,
Yeah.
or they're flying out the windows. Well, hey, maybe
All
we just
right.
shouldn't have windows. Maybe that's the
That
solution.
Yeah, that's it. Or we should be
Yeah,
taxed heavily on them.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad Jack's okay, and it's nice to talk to you. And I will be talking to you soon, I'm sure.
Okay, take care.
All right.
Bye.
And thanks, everybody. Tune in again next week.
Oh, one thing I did want to mention.
Oh,
Sorry,
yes. Go
just
ahead.
just da 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 da. Drum roll. We're starting the Sovereign Independent site again.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you mentioned
Yeah.
that. So
I don't
Sovereign
know.
Independent,
Yeah.
that went down right around the early days of COVID, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's getting rebuilt and tested at the moment. So yeah, that'll be good.
Excellent.
Get
Excellent. Well,
something going.
that's good news. Well, keep
I might
us
have to I
posted.
might have to rake out Hell in a Handbasket again and do some writing.
Yes, well, I'm wondering too, considering that's getting up again, perhaps you'll have access to some of the archived Hell in a Handbasket articles.
I'm not sure, but I'll
Okay.
find out from the
All
lads. I'm
right.
not the techie guy.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. Well, everyone, thank you very much, and I will be back soon.
Well, I've got something that the world